my storage died and I had to delete some things. So, going back a little bit to the beginning of this idea, Yeshem shetzarech l'zahir be'erev Yom Tov ha'achron shelo lahachin liyom sheni shel Yom Tov ela al yedei harama sheyochel mimenu me'at bo b'yom. Some people say that when you're cooking for the last 2 days of Yom Tov on Chol HaMoed, Chutz La'aretz, that I'm not allowed to cook for the second day of Yom Tov unless I cook enough that I have left over and I actually eat from it on Chol HaMoed. Why? Because we are experts in establishing the calendar. We now actually know that the last day is not Yom Tov. V'im can make mechol hamoued lechol, and then I'm preparing on Chol HaMoed for a weekday. V'nirali da'abra der she'ein lezacher bekach, and it appears to me that the reverse is true, and you shouldn't be careful with this at all. Ki hechi delo asu lezole b'yom tov sheni. Because that way you're making fun of the second day of Yontif. You're saying it's not Yontif. It's for this reason that do not make Havdalah between the first and second days of Yontif. Because if you say we're experts, so therefore this isn't Yontif anymore, so I should make Havdalah, right? But then you're saying that it's Chol if I'm making Havdalah now, right? And that's not good.
And is this how... Can we understand the...
Hold on. So that we don't do anything. We're not allowed to do anything that makes Yom Tov Sheni appear that it's not Yom Tov. With the one exception that we've already talked about, you're allowed to bury, when we were doing Hilchos Yom Tov, that you're allowed to bury the dead on the second day of Yom Tov. Right, because for the kavod hames, which is a obligation min Torah, the Chachamim could not that obligation puts aside the rabbinic idea of Yom Tov Sheni. And I did not see that my father, the Rosh, was ever careful about this. So we have and the Beis Yosef also rejects this idea. There is no posek within, let us say, the last 500 years that has said one should not cook on the last day of Chol HaMoed for the second day of Yom Tov. Yes?
Can we understand that the shita of the first opinion might be that he holds that the second day Chag is Knas, and not be where that comes from?
No. I think it's just ununderstandable, because he's saying, first of all, where it comes from is this concern of that it's not, we're experts in the calendar, so we know it's not really Yom Tov. But we do all sorts of things, and it's not only this, by the way. You could say, the Mishnah Berurah says, you see from Yom Tov Sheni that we say a bracha over it, right? Just like Kiddush and so on, and all of davening. And so it's taken very seriously. So we don't, to suddenly say, to be makpid on Chol HaMoed, which the Tur holds is an Isser d'Rabbanan, right? Mm-hmm. Seems just like out of the ballpark. And as I said, no one has taken this seriously for a long time. But obviously in the Tur's time, which was, 650, 700 years ago,
there were people.
There apparently still were people. All right. You're not allowed to buy houses, stones, slaves, maidservants, except for what you need for Yom Tov. Or for a poor person that doesn't have the seller doesn't have what to eat. He's right. Az mutter liknos minu. I can kol I can someone that doesn't have money for yontif. I can buy anything from him. It doesn't matter what it is, right? Binyan halva beribis la'akum. Concerning giving non-Jews loan on interest. Yeshosrim, some people say it's prohibited, shadoma l'sachora, because it looks like business. It's a business transaction, they say. For the casa of Rabbeinu Tam lahatir. And Rabbeinu Tam says it's mutter. The only thing that is prakmatia, good Greek word, is buying and selling. Shel sachora, of merchandise. Velo halva, but not a loan. The kasavari, and the rewrote, the Rabbeinu Tam's nephew. Kevan shehitir Rabbeinu Tam. Kevan sheRabbeinu Tam hitir, because Rabbeinu Tam mattered it. V'rov b'nei Adam nohagim heter, and most people now that are involved in the banking business give loans on HaMoed. Ein biyadi lesor. It's not within my hands to prohibit it. Ve'amachmir tavo alav bracha. And if someone's machmir, they get a bracha for it. Ve'ani ragil lomar malvim b'chol HaMoed sheyikchu miyad ha'akum rivis shel shabua rishon v'yotzienu l'simchas yantiv. And I tell people in this business, take the interest from the first week when you extend the loan and spend that money for simchas yantiv. Because if you're doing something that increases your simchas yantiv,
it's mutter.
Then it's always mutter. V'rav Rabbeinu Meir mi Rottenberg, and the Maharam mi Rottenberg said, Kasev, shemutter lahavos lemekirin. I'm allowed to extend loans to those people I know. Obavad shilve lehem shavua rishon bechinam, as long as I don't charge for the first week. Meaning, which would be the time over, it might be better to say the time over Chol Moed Chag. I'm not making anything on Chag. Don't charge interest for those days. And ve'avi adini rosh sal hiter lemakirin afilu imikach shavua rishon. And the Rosh, who was of course one of the Talmidim of the Maharam Rottenberg, said you are, and even if you take the interest of the first week. The reason why the Maharam Rottenberg said you can loan to people that you already have a business relationship with is because they can't get a loan from you, they're going to go to someone else, right? And he's considered this a davar ha'aved, something that you can lose money on, right? Mm-hmm. Because you'll lose your customer base. But the Maharam Rottenberg said you're not allowed to get new customers, right? You have your business. You can maintain your business. And not maintaining the happiness of your customers is something that will cause a loss. However, the new customers he viewed as profit, right? And profit can be a problem on Chol HaMoed. And this is the language of a tshuva of the Rosh. Uba Ashkenaz hayarias devar Hashem nohagim iser b'haval b'ribis la'akum b'chol HaMoed. Those people that are Yirei Hashem, that have great awe of God, they do not give loans to non-Jews on Chol HaMoed. V'ani hitarti b'beisi lahalvos la'elu shor gilim tamid l'lvos b'beisi. And I allowed in my household that those people that regularly come to borrow money from us, that we can give loan to them. Shim lo yilve lehem yalchu l'olvos b'mkomacher. If we don't loan to them, they'll go someplace else. V'yargidim levo etzlam ve'eka pseida, and they'll regularly go to them, and there will be a loss. The entire concept that we spent a lot of time in the Siman talking about of a caravan, that there's something that I will not be able to get at another time, or the price is going to be very, very much different, is a concept that's strange to us, especially today with internet purchases. You can always go to Amazon and get any conceivable thing that you need, right? Mm-hmm. There's no such thing. You want to talk food stuff, go to your supermarket. You get whatever you want. And I don't care whether you're in Israel, you're in the United States, you're in England, you're in South America, South Africa. Australia, New Zealand, doesn't matter. You can always go and get these things that are l'tzorech l'moed. It's not going to be any more or any less. So in terms of those heterim, even if there's, quote, a sale, it doesn't seem to me that the sale is of such a great nature that it makes the type of massive business difference that they were talking about to be allowed to buy from the caravan. Again, when you look, I mean, you don't even have to go that far back. When tea, there was the race to get tea to England every year from India, and the first ship in could sell their tea for much, much more. The next day, the prices already dropped massively, right? We don't see that type of fluctuations in our marketplaces as they had, or the changes in general, the changes of availability. Sometimes there are, that's true. But in general, a lot of the things that we've been talking about don't exist. So the buying and selling that which is necessary for Yom Tov, yes. To continue businesses so that your customers don't go someplace else, yes. But again, we even said a lot of these things have to be done b'tzina in a modest way, so it doesn't impinge upon the feeling of Yom Tov. Again, it depends on whether you're in Eretz Yisrael or Chutz La'aretz. And if you're in Eretz Yisrael, keeping stores closed so that when you go to malls and things like that, half the stores are closed, it does not feel the same way as it does during the rest of the year. That's a very important idea. If you're Chutz La'aretz and it's one store that's going to be closed in a mall of 200 stores, I don't think it affects the feeling of Yom Tov in that particular place. If you're in a street where half the businesses, 3/4 of the businesses on the street are Jewish-owned businesses by firm people, and closing them would affect the nature of the feeling of Yom Tov and HaMoed. That these are issues that would have to go into concern. The other issue that is constantly going through things is whether it's b'tzina or b'tircha. Many times, Rishonim, brought in the Beis Yosef, they said, if you sell from your house, it's mutter because I'm not schlepping my stuff around. Or maybe today a warehouse. Whereas if I'm schlepping things around, that's tircha, and that's also a thing that was asur. And sometimes even in the case of davar aved, previously we learned if a great tircha is involved, still davar aved wouldn't be mutter. So these are calculations that people are generally unaware of that they should be making and determining what's mutter and what's asur on HaMoed. Next shiur, we work with binyan, construction on HaMoed.